This sign at the entrance of a rather ordinary-looking house in Winnipeg's North End displays its invitation of welcome to all who pass by, an invitation to drop in and visit. Once inside, the visitor will be greeted by its director, a young priest, or by one of the lay volunteers, who quickly make you feel welcome, whether it's just for relaxed conversation, a cup of coffee, or for one of the activities planned for that day. Age is no barrier, nor is race or color. Everyone is made to feel welcome. Every person is important. Each person brings a special and unique joy. The opportunity to share and deepen one's experience of God is an important part of the life at the Welcome Home. So visitors are invited to join in with the prayer life of the community. Sharing all things in love, the Welcome Home strives to live the message of the gospel today. Whatever you do to these, the least of my brothers and sisters, you do for me. Welcome to Sunday Scope. My name is Deacon Michael Krochak. On today's program, we're going to show you how some young people have committed themselves to live out the gospel message in a very concrete way, and in practical terms put into practice what our Lord says, love one another as I have loved you. They've chosen to serve out this ministry in the Welcome Home. And we have a number of guests with us this evening who will tell us about the Welcome Home and about their experiences there. My first guest is Father Larry Kondra, a young Ukrainian Redemptorist priest who is the director of the Welcome Home. And welcome to our show, Father.
Thank you, Michael. It's good to be here.
And could you describe the Welcome Home for us?
Well, first and foremost, it's my home. It's our home, where David, Andrea, and I live and work and pray together. And it belongs to the Redemptorist, community of religious men. I'll explain about a little bit later. And there we invite young adults to join us to experience our life and our mission. And the young adults are asked to commit themselves for about a year to a rather unique experience of Christian community, spirituality, and ministry with the Redemptorists. I also believe that our home is very much a people place. It's a place where, as a Christian community, being community, we want to welcome our neighbors. And we believe that it's a place where people can meet each other, to build bridges, so to speak, between people of all ages and backgrounds. And so, in developing relationships with people, then, we open our doors to people, to welcome them, to share our lives with them, and in turn they share their lives with us. So our ministry, as we see it, is one of hospitality and presence, where, for example, people come to our home for the sense of friendship they find there, for a sense of belonging to a spiritual family they can call their own. Some come simply to find a place of peace, to get away from sometimes the chaos that can overwhelm their lives. The children, for example, who come through our doors find our home a very safe and friendly environment where they're accepted.
But you say this home belongs to the Redemptorist Fathers. Why did they choose this particular kind of a ministry?
Well, three reasons, basically. One, as the Redemptorists have been going through a renewal of their own identity, so to speak, in the past several years. And part of that has been a dialogue that we've engaged in with the young adults that we meet in our ministry across Canada. And the dialogue has taught us a lot about the needs of young people today, and about ourselves too. And through that, we've heard the young people have a desire to experience something in church and in their Christian life, something more than they find than simply going to church once a week on Sundays, for example. And out of that desire, we've responded, for example, in offering a summer program we call Serve, which is a 2-week program in the summer held in Toronto, where they experience Christian life and spirituality and mission, perhaps for the first time. And then from Serve, we've heard something else happening in their hearts and calling for a deeper and longer expression for them. And so the Welcome Home has concretized that expression of their desire. And we are very privileged to have with us 2 young adults who've committed themselves this year. We've been at this for this is our 2nd year now, and last year we had 4 young adults from different parts of Canada, and the 2 this year are from close to home in Winnipeg.
We'll be talking to them a bit later.
Yeah.
But tell me something more about the Redemptorist fathers themselves, the Redemptorist congregation of priests.
The Redemptorists were founded in 1732 in Italy by a very holy and wise man by the name of Alphonsus Liguori, who we refer to as Saint Alphonsus. He contributed much to the church of his day, and perhaps the greatest contribution was giving the church this community of men who have consecrated themselves to God to live a life of prayer and simplicity in their service of the church. And St. Alphonsus, in his zealous love for Christ, which he had, just felt his heart pulled beyond the mainstream of church and society of his day to the poor people in the countryside in Italy. And then, so it's among these people who are often abandoned by church and society of the day, where he experienced God in a very profound way. And it's there that he began our congregation, known as the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, and we call ourselves the Redemptorists.
So that's a very fitting ministry that you're involved in, because it goes back to the same mission that he had, the same vocation that he had to be ministering to the less fortunate people around.
Well, it goes back to our roots, it does, and we attempt to reenact the spirit of St. Alphonsus today through this ministry.
You mentioned that it was begun in Italy, and yet you are a Ukrainian Redemptorist of the Eastern Rite. So the Redemptorist order then encompasses both rites, is that true?
Yes, the Redemptorists, we're about 6,000 throughout the world in over 40 different countries. The Redemptorists first came to Canada, for example, in the 19th century, and began working with Ukrainian immigrants, for example, in the prairies. And it's through this work with the Ukrainians that the Redemptorists then began to gain vocations from the Ukrainian community, and eventually developed a Ukrainian branch, so to speak, of the Redemptorists here in Canada.
Okay, what about your own call to this ministry?
Well, I'm glad you used the word call, because for me that's what I experience. It's very much a call. It's a call to simplicity and solidarity. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. A call from the gospel to experience God in people who often find daily life a struggle, and to witness to the hope that I find in the gospel and in community living, and to encourage a sense of worth and value in their own lives. It's also a sense of call to witness to something more than what we find in society today in terms of the consumer values that form us and mold us in many ways. So it's a call to simplicity in that sense, to witness to gospel values today.
Can you tell me something about the spiritual component to the Welcome Home?
Well, there is a very definite spiritual component. It's the essence of our life there, really. We gather as a community 3 times a day to pray in a chapel that we have in our home. And we feel that it's very much a spiritual journey for us to be there, living the life we're living. And because the faith dimension is so important to us, so in sharing our lives with others, this is something we offer to others as an experience of who we are. For example, on our weekly schedule, we have an evening where we invite people from our neighborhood to come in to our home and experience prayer with us, and after which we continue that with a celebration of a meal.
We're going to see some of that on video a bit later. But now I want to thank you very much, but we want to turn now to our 2 of the other guests, 2 of the residents who live with you at the Welcome Home and work with you. So we have with us today Andrea Luki and David Dubovitz. And we want to thank you both for coming and being here and sharing with us. And I'd like to start with you, Andrea. Can you tell us what led to your decision to enter the Welcome Home?
Well, it was a lot of different things, and having graduated from university last year, I was left with not too many career choices, it seemed. There isn't much out there for young adults. Nothing conventional, it seems, is really didn't seem to be quite the right thing. And having gone to Toronto for a year to live there, I was also part of the SERVE program for 2 years in a row. And I really found myself needing to do more with my life than just finding a regular job. And so after being away from Winnipeg and seeing a little more of the world, I thought, well, you know, maybe it's time to do something that I feel really pulled to. And so moving back to Winnipeg was kind of tough, you know. But a few things happened. I went to camp and got to know a bunch of kids there who really pulled me into wanting to do more for our own Ukrainian Catholic community. And I've known about the Welcome Home since before it started, when the whole idea came. And just suddenly it just seemed that was the thing to do. I didn't necessarily want to get into religious life, but I just felt I wanted to share my life with other people, and this is just a great opportunity to do that.
What about you, David? Was your experience the same, or did you come at it from a different angle?
Well, I'd have to say a little slightly different angle. For me, it was pretty simple. I basically needed a change in my life. Previous to this year, I've been at university for 3 years, and this past spring I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. And after that experience of university, I felt, well, I didn't know where I was going. So since I'd been a part of the SERVE program and I knew about the Welcome Home, it was actually quite a natural thing for me to go there. I was very interested in what happens there, of living in Christian community, of partaking in active ministry, and of doing community service. So once I finished my degree in the spring, the decision was pretty easy to make, what I was going to do for this year.
You mentioned the community service. Could you tell me some of the activities that you're involved in at the Welcome Home?
For myself personally, I volunteered at the local elementary school. There I assist a classroom teacher in a grade 4 class. I do everything from work with small groups of kids to working one-on-one with different students, or basically just giving them some extra attention when they so desire it. Mm-hmm. Also, as a community, we have a Saturday morning set aside for a children's activity. On Saturday mornings, The kids come in and we have a programmed activities for them, anything from an art or a craft to do, or for them to watch an educational video. And then after that is done, they all stay for lunch. So at the
And you do the
welcome,
cooking.
yes, we all help in the cooking.
Yeah.
Andrea, what about you? Are you in the same activities, or do you?
Well, they slightly differ. One thing in the Welcome Home is that we all share in everything, and it's kind of neat the way it works. Because we're, I guess, so in tune with each other's and what our mission is there, we're able to pick up the slack from each other, you know, depending on what we're doing. I find myself drawn into the older crowd, although I love being with the kids and stuff. But lately, it's especially, I seem to be with young adults who are dealing with things on the street. They come by, they've found out about us, and they just need a place to come and talk and have a coffee and, you know, feel just a little bit of love and attention and everything. And so from that angle, that's something that I really enjoy doing. I don't know. I love to cook, so I end up doing half the cooking there, as it works out. But the activity, part of the activities, when I mention cooking, I'm kind of doing that sometimes when people come over, and the kids are always curious. Well, what are you doing? So I always give them little jobs to do.
That's right.
That helps them out.
That helps them
I've
too.
always loved the kitchen as when I was a kid, and it's a real bonding experience. So I enjoy things like that.
Now, can you tell me, has the Welcome Home experience that you've had or that you're having given you any sense of where to from here? You've made a one-year commitment.
Go ahead.
Who's first?
Well, I think what it's done for me is to really be aware that God is calling each and every one of us to a vocation. That may not be a religious vocation, but there is some plan He has for all of us. So doing this year, it's really introduced me to kind of a whole new world of doing of living out the gospel, of doing ministry to people, and you know, you kind of have to put your trust in God and hope that He'll lead you to where He wants you to go.
I'm not sure where I'm going to go after this. I may get into more school, do a master's possibly.
Could you tell us a little bit of what the experience of Welcome Home has done for you?
Well, we were talking about this just today. It's really funny, but as corny as it sounds, it feels like there's been just a lot more joy in my life. There is a lot more energy. A lot of things I thought I couldn't do before, being there for people, realizing that maybe some people have more problems than I've ever had in my life, and it's just a real feeling of accomplishment, a sense of accomplishment, and of being needed, and it's just really great.
So from what I hear from both of you is that that has been a very positive kind of an experience.
Most definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you would recommend it to other young people?
Anybody, come and see.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing again.
Thank you.
Now we're going to turn to a short video segment, and we will actually see some of the activities at Welcome Home. We'll begin with a chapel service, and then we will hear firsthand from some of the neighbors who drop in and visit the Welcome Home. So let's go to that video now.
We have reached the setting of the sun and see the evening light. We sing to you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, our God. It is fitting at all times
friendly here, nice people, and they should come and see themselves. You know? Yeah, I did. I'm trying to get my sister over here, and I have my niece to come, you know?
The Welcome Home is a very relaxed place to come to. It's a relaxed atmosphere. It's filled with people who don't judge. And I was curious to see what the Welcome Home was about. I heard about it. I was a little scared to come. But when I came, it was a friendly place to come to. And I'm finding out that through the prayers and vespers, I'm developing more of a relationship with God, which is important to me. And I'm developing friendships, so I think those are the two main reasons why I come to the Welcome Home.
I never met friends like I did here. Very good. And they're all so friendly that they help you with everything. It's very good. We pray and we talk about good things.
We play some cards, crib, talk with who is ever on at the time. And sometimes I help out with the kids and that. I set up with the tables and chairs and whatever else they want me to help out with. Sometimes with the dishes too.
Yeah, I'm part of the community here, yeah. Should be, because I was the first one here. I'm the first one on the book.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
It seemed like I got to know a lot of people, but I guess I started to get to know myself a bit. I know coming here a lot. Yeah.
The best thing about coming here, I find, I guess one of the reasons I started coming was for the food, for the free meals, but what I'm finding now is the best thing for me is that I'm finally coming to understand God a little bit and to increase my faith.
And I love the way things goes here. I like it. I like coming here. Very much. Yeah, and I think everything what you're doing. I like these suppers and everything you got. Thank you for that too.
Now I'd like you to meet our next guest. It's Mark Nuttall, who's the Redemptorist Vocations and Youth Ministry Coordinator. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Could you tell us what your role is with regard to Welcome Home?
Well, as you've stated, I'm the Redemptorist Youth Vocation Minister. I'm a full-time layperson that was hired for the position. I have theological training, but have not yet received holy orders. And my role is to promote the Redemptorist charism, this whole call to conversion of living the gospel and sharing life with our neighbors. And so I promote different programs that we offer for young adults, our SIR program in the summer, our different dialogue programs, and I work a lot with our Seminary House, Redeemer House, and I'm in charge of promotions there. And of course I work with Welcome Home and promote the programs there, and I'm a visitor myself and participate in the program and the community there quite a bit. I'm a liaison there between the Redemptorist community and the community at Welcome Home.
Very good. Now, supposing one of our viewers was interested in getting more information about Welcome Home, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is to come down to the Welcome Home. As the name suggests, all are welcome, and it's located, of course, at 188 Euclid Avenue. And the best way to come is to come down on our Thursday night evening meals. We start at 5, and everyone's welcome, anyone, to come and share in prayer and share in the meal. For more information, you can always contact Father Larry at the Welcome Home there at 946-5352, or myself at my office at St. Joseph's Parish in Winnipeg at 338-6823, and we'll be glad to help you.
Yes, I believe that we're going to be showing that clip with the address on there. You say that you yourself go to the Welcome Home and volunteer and work in some of the programs, is that right?
I do. I participate often in the afternoon programs with the children. We get a lot of children now. Our program is very successful, and with just the 4 of us running it, and sometimes we get 25 kids in the house, it gets quite hectic. So we always welcome anyone who has a free afternoon to drop by and to come and give a hand and just to be with the children and to be with the people that drop in.
Okay. Father Larry, I want to turn back to you now. Do you have any thoughts that you'd like to share yet before we close off the show?
You have another half hour, maybe?
Unfortunately, no.
I just want to echo things that I've heard from the others already. As someone said, it is a come and see kind of place, a time to experience. And I think that's just the best thing to say as far as invitation goes. And I think it's an experience that challenges some change in our own hearts. It's a place where I'm being evangelized constantly, and I believe that's a real gift for me to be involved in the Welcome Home.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming out and sharing and being part of the program. We hope that by showing you a glimpse of the Welcome Home, we have awakened in you your own response to the gospel message, that by our lifestyles and by our words, we can bring the love and hope of Jesus Christ to a troubled world. We want to thank you all for watching. God bless you all.
Mm.